the first thing you do when you get into the clinic in the morning?
We start with consults. So we're talking to owners about their pets and why they're sick, and we try to identify what we call problems. So it might be vomiting and itching and weight loss. And then I guess the initial goal is a diagnosis. What is making that animal sick? And then we want to treat them.
What kind of animals do you mostly work with?
Well, I work with a varied type of animals. We've got Basil here, who's a dog. In here we have a bit of wildlife. So this is a blue-tongued lizard here who got attacked by dogs. And then we have a rabbit who's come in because he's drinking excessively and has some weight loss.
Can you name some of the other roles or jobs that fit inside the umbrella of vet?
Yeah, sure. So in the clinic at the moment we have veterinary nurses that are here, we have receptionists, we have a clinic manager. You can also have veterinary technicians who have even more training than veterinary nurses. And then there's also research vets and vets who work in pharmaceutical companies and vets who work in zoos and with wildlife. It is more than just the classic idea of the person who vaccinates your dog or cat. So we're going to get a little blood sample from Basil now. Beautiful. Which is something we offer to try to improve the anaesthetic safety. Unfortunately, in pets, the risks in anaesthesia are slightly higher than in humans.
So is there anything that new grads can do to differentiate themselves from other applicants?
I think in the end, the thing that employers are really looking for clinical vets are the people skills. Most people have animal skills because that's the classic set that we are looking for and that attracts people who love animals. But it's the people who will be able to connect with the owners and convince them to do things and be good patient advocates that that employers are really looking for, because that's a really difficult skill set to teach people.
What are you doing now?
So we've got those bloods. We're just going to run them in the in-house analyzers. We've got some oxygen flowing here, so we're doing what's called pre-oxygenation. We're increasing the amount of oxygen in Basil's lungs so that when we start the anaesthetic, if he slows his breathing down, he has a bit of a buffer in there so he doesn't get low oxygen levels. So we'll do this for about 3 to 5 minutes.
Amazing. What's a common misconception people have about being a vet?
I think people who had never been exposed to it, and especially when you're maybe younger and not, I use naive very gently, is that you think it's an easy job, it's a fun job, it's a playful job with animals. And whilst there's certainly elements of that, it can be a really challenging job. Most vets see themselves as patient advocates there to help animals, but you also have to put animals to sleep. Sometimes when they could be cured, that can be really challenging.
What would you say is the most rewarding part of your job?
I think one of the most rewarding parts of being a vet is the ability to work in a small team to solve serious problems, as in life-threatening problems, and know that you and your teammates are the key part of the success. I think it can be a really meaningful thing that we do.
And one final question before I leave you to it. What were some of the skills that you had to learn on the job that you didn't necessarily learn at uni?
What I'm doing right now, which is placing a venous catheter. So there are certain practical skills that the universities just don't really teach you, that you have to learn out on the job.
Well, thank you so much. It looks like you've got your hands full here, so we'll leave you to it.
No worries. Thanks for coming.